Hello everybody, welcome to the 45th and final episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast. My name is Gustafsson. This has been a slow chess week. I've got nothing to talk about. But unfortunately, I know some people who lead rich lives full of interactions. And Heine Nielsen is here to tell us what's going on in his life.
Yeah, tons of action. I mean, just back from Denmark, big party. Well, my mother turned 80 this Sunday, so my sister and nephew was, having champagne, food, these kind of stuff, and
food.
Food as well. Yeah, a lot of food actually. I ate so much I fell asleep, but that's how we do parties in my family, not by drinking, but by eating. But anyway, that was actually great. As you know, there has been some illness recently, so it was good to do these kind of things. So I came back around midnight, but now my 8-year-old is having a bit of fever, so he stayed home from school today. So basically today we have been, watching movies and talking and having a good time. But of course, I managed to, while he's watching movie, I have the engines running on Magnus's prep, right? I should mention.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, right. So I have managed to come, it's difficult, basically, they say, to work from home and have an ill kid, but, I managed that today. So I'm basically happy, but now I get to talk to you guys, so even better, right? Excellent stuff.
Laurent, I can see you got a haircut, looking sharp, sitting in your Paris mansion.
Yeah.
What's going on in your little world?
Not much happening. I can say I was following last week Purchase League, so I was commentating, of course. So I was paid to follow, so I can update you. But yeah, not much in chess. Of course, I followed the Magnus games quite closely, but life going on. Not much, not many changes.
Right.
How about you in Hamburg? Is it the weather is better? It's improving or not yet?
It's up and down. It was snowing yesterday. Today there's some sunshine. You never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, same here. I've been mostly alone with my sick son who hasn't been in kindergarten for a couple days now. So I'm testing. I don't know. You guys are parents. Like, how many hours of Fireman Sam a day are good for a kid? Like 8 or 9 is fine, of course. Yeah. But like at some point,
I think double digits is sort of the cutoff. Yeah.
That's what I figured. Yeah. When he gets to 10, I tell him no. Time for some Paw Patrol.
Yeah, no, I'm lacking authority as well. So it's very, very, very tough. When actually it was holidays for my kids as well. So it's always a tough period because you have to entertain them the whole day, which is not easy and not done actually. You have to find some.
Hard to be productive at the same time unless you run deep searches like Peter.
Yeah.
Very hard to get stuff done. So normally I only get stuff done when I put him to bed, and by stuff done I mean doing very, very little as well.
I saw Yanistan. Yanistan was back.
Yanistan was back for an hour until my son wakes up. Yeah. It's been a very entertaining week. And thanks everybody for listening. That was this week's episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast. Because there's also not much chess going on, is there? Like, there is a Pro Chess League. Luckily, we have Laurent to fill us in on all the action. There's the European Championship. But frankly, is anybody watching that? I mean, it used to be a big thing when we were players. No, for me, that was an important tournament because you tried to qualify for the World Cup. But as a spectator, commentator, whatever, it's not really been on my radar. Have you guys been following it?
I will surprise you and tell you that I'm following my French buddies mainly. So Moussa, Bacro, and Lagarde. Maurizio as well is playing. So yeah, I'm updating every day on their results because I know them well and I'm rooting for them. So yeah, but not. Yeah, if you're not playing, of course, it's less interesting to watch.
It's a bit strange, this European Championship, because it sounds like a big thing, but normally most top players are skipping it. No, is it because it's mainly considered a World Cup qualifier? Is the money not good enough? Why is no one playing the European Championship?
Yeah, it's a World Cup qualifier and the money is not great. I mean, the first prize is 20k, but of course, it's such a strong open that you have absolutely zero guarantee. And it goes down quite quickly. I remember in 2012, I shared second place. I won 4,000. So we were
Is that your best result of 2012?
Almost, because I lost the last round. I was leading, but you see, I only made 4,000. I mean, it was not because we were sharing with at +5 with 10 people, and you just share the money equally, and then it's not. I mean, it was I played incredibly well, but for my standard. I mean, the result was incredibly good, my best ever in European Championship, and I played many of them. I played at least 15, I think.
Where was 2012? Was that in France? Did I play that one? Was it in?
No, 2012 was in Bulgaria, in Plovdiv.
Yeah. We made a quick draw, no?
No, it was 2008 when we made the quick draw.
But it was also in Plovdiv.
It was in Plovdiv as well, yeah.
I think Jan kicked ass in the tiebreak, Jan, right?
I have zero recollection of years, but I think...
No, that's why you were playing this exchange Slavs in the tiebreak and
Prasharchenko.
Qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah, you were hiding the prep in your game against me by making a 8-move draw, and then we were both very happy because we both qualified in that 2008 tournament.
Yeah, I beat Paco last round. Those were the golden days. Let's talk more about mediocre chess results 15 years ago.
I lost
15 years ago?
I think
15,
so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I didn't qualify as far as I remember. So, I mean.
Yeah, those were the days, but I mean, I guess for you guys it was the same as me. You just reach some score, and I mean, you are trying to reach a score which will qualify you for the World Cup, and then you just try to actually to make those and qualify. And if there's some nasty, which happened to me actually, some nasty guys who are trying to beat you. I mean, I remember this guy Korobov. I mean, some guys they just don't care; they just play for the title. Like Korobov, okay, then backfired for him. But Kolenko beat me once.
In the lead right now. He's timeless. On top board against Ponomarev.
He's not going to stop. He's going to play his style, I think.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a weird tournament because, as you said, half the field on +4 more or less stops playing and starts making draws. To get to the World Cup, where I don't know what the money is nowadays, but there you have a chance to make some decent money if you survive a round or two. Then that's usually the big goal for the players. While then you have 2 or 3, or maybe some more people fighting for tournament victories. So it's always a bit of an uneven watch, but of course for players it's a big deal. Qualify for the World Cup, get maybe a match against a big name in the second round. And of course I'm rooting for the Svane brothers, both on 3.5 out of 4. Svane tech team doing well so far. Peter, what was your best World Cup? You made the quarterfinals, no?
I think probably the last 16, but the 4th round. So
did you lose to Gashimov or did you beat Gashimov?
I lost to Gashimov. I beat Adams on the way, but I lost to Gashimov. Basically, it's like I had a match with 6 games, but with no draws, which was sort of somewhat atypical. But I lost to him there. Yeah. And there, I mean, I qualified. Well, I didn't qualify from the European Championship, and those were the days where I was not really hating on FIDE, but hating on the European Chess Union. It was led by Danilov.
So was that? Did you switch from hating on the Danish Chess Federation to the ECU, or was that simultaneously? And
well, the Danish has always been there in the mix, but basically, I mean, probably, at that point it was the European Chess Union. They had this tournament in France where they made the most absurd tiebreak system. And, they have misunderstood the idea of what does performance rating mean. So I thought that I had qualified. It turned out I hadn't. Then I made a protest. And, then I, of course, turned it down. But then the good guys in FIDE basically decided that I was right. So me and Parligras, we got a wild card to the World Cup. So I owe everything, my career to FIDE. They gave me a wild card. And I qualified, as you said, for the 4th round.
Kobalia in his letter was talking about it, as far as I remember.
Yeah. I got a wild card from Kirsten. I remember driving in the Greek mountain on our way to the Greek league, when suddenly there was an email from FIDE saying that you have been awarded a wild card because of... Well, they didn't explain why, but it was obvious it was due to the merits of the protest. I mean, I made a probably 10-page open letter you can find if you want to. Probably you don't want to.
I can't wait to read your 10-page open letter about the tiebreak system.
No, but it's a piece of... No, it's not a piece of art, but I mean, at least there was a couple of mathematicians who wrote me and said that I was right. So that made me a bit happier. But anyway, that is my past. But basically, you're right. There is not many... federations I haven't had a fight with. But to be fair, I'm not alone.
European Championship. Yeah, is there any chess to talk about? Korobov, Ponomarev on the top board. A bunch of players on 3.5 out of 4. Korobov and Ponomarev have 4 out of 4. But yeah, who's the top seed? There's not that many.
There's no 2700, and the top seed is Sargsyan, is 2698.
I think you described it well. It's a qualification event for the World Cup. And, you can argue it's a pity. You can also argue it's a huge success. I mean, they have, I think, plus 400 players playing. I would argue that it's a bit of a pity that to qualify, you have to make a huge score against lower-rated players rather than to do well against higher-rated players. But so be it. And I guess it's also kind of a way of making... money for the European Chess Union. There's a lot of income based on having so many players. So, I think that's the realities in a way.
But let's say that 2,700 players are not playing, but they will most likely qualify for the World Cup with their rating, because there is a lot of players qualified by ratings. I don't know how many exactly, but I guess if they don't play, most of them did check the regulations, and it used to be like that actually.
Well, to say that part of it is that in normal tournaments, if you're 2,700, you will get some conditions from the organizers. I mean, on a bad day, maybe hotel and traveling, and sometimes a starting fee. At the European Championship, you just have expenses. So, I mean, you talked about being number 2, you got 4,000 euros, but your expenses will easily be a couple of €1,000 already, right? So
he's French Federation pays.
Actually, French Federation pays for the last 20 years. So even offered to me this year, I could go for free. I mean, basically, they would cover all my expenses.
But that's, again, then your social skills means you're on good terms with your federation. For us,
they just do it by rating.
Okay, fair enough.
Ali Reza and MVL are not really...
Do you think if Peter was French, they would pay for him?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that Coatli was supporting your career at that time, yes?
I don't think I played any. I played one actually.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, you're confusing. I mean, Quatley, you get me excited by saying this name. You are confusing. It was not his money. It was the money from the federation.
Fair enough. But but also, I mean, I can only say the same as Jan. European Championship was very exciting as a player. Really something. Yeah. I mean, it was the main event. I really wanted to qualify for the World Cup, but as a spectator. Well, I have seen some tweets from Ågaard where he mentioned some things, and at some point I realized actually it was a Danish player, Jonas Bjerre, playing. Well, the Svane brothers as well, of course. And I mean, but no, I get the point. It's hard to be very excited about because, it lacks. I mean, when we sometimes are critical that the World Championship lacks the best player, I mean, European Championship lacks top 30 or top 20, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as a player, it's completely different, which maybe also shows you how deep chess is. Because once you're up there on, let's say, +3, you play a 2,600 player every day. And I would guess it's the same in this field. So there you're under constant stress. You're playing a strong player and you have to prepare for them. So as a player, it feels like a very exciting tournament. But yeah, since we're so focused on the household names in chess, I mean, I'm assuming our audience, if we read out the top boards, let's say, Korobov, Ponomarev, Safarli, I'm not sure they know. Gelfand they will know, of course. Mastro Vasilis, Sargsyan maybe, Pechak, Sarana, Brkic, Cheparinov, Bakro, Svane, Santos Latasa, Azarov, Levaik, Win, Nasuta, Abasov. I mean, these are all very strong players, but I think, people stop knowing who they are. And frankly, so do I at some point now that we're no longer part of the scene fairly quickly. So chess is deep. There's a lot of players who are good at chess, spent a lot of time. And why is another question.
Yeah, I agree. There's not much to say from there, basically, because...
No, but Magnus, I mean, let's come to the next topic.
What's the next topic? Magnus!
He played
Norwegian League against two of his closest frenemies, against Jon Ludvig Hammer and David Howell.
Well, he did play 3 games, actually.
I only saw 2. He scored 2.5?
Yeah, he scored 2.5. He won against Tallaksen on Friday.
I missed.
But I think a different Tallaksen than the one he drew last year.
How many Tallaksens can you have?
Well, I don't know.
There's Eirik?
Yeah, I think there is, but you can check it. I think there is more.
Yeah, of course, the most exciting game was...
Oh yeah, Geir Sune Tallaksen.
Oh, Geir Sune, I think, was the one he drew last year.
That's the only Tallaksen that comes up here.
Okay, fair enough. Well, it gives you a... Well, also, I mean, to be fair... He told me on Skype 2 minutes before the game that he was playing, so we didn't have time to prepare that deeply for that one, I would say.
But he got lucky, because as usual, you were working non-stop, think he was opening, so you were ready.
Yeah. I think that... No, we spoke a little bit about what to do against Hammer the next day, and for Hammer, well, there was a bit of preparation, but... I'm also... Hammer is my opponent in the Fantasy League, so... I helped Magnus with the prep for chess, but then I knew that Hammer was busy with chess, so I tried to make some... Well, you can make this kind of wild card in football where you change your whole team. So I tried to do this, and it failed spectacularly, but at least Magnus won the game, right? But also, I think... Magnus actually asked me some late-minute advice to send me some files while I was at the golf course, but I managed to find some in the backup files on my phone, so... I don't think he managed. I was golfing when I was supposed to work, but we'll see.
He must be so thrilled your priorities
are
in order. But was his last outing as official world champion? How do we know, by the way, he can't play anything during the match, or he's not supposed to? Why did I read everywhere those were his last games?
Well... There is no events that he's... Well, I mean, he might play some online event, but if we're talking about
that we don't come.
A rated game, well, what should it be? I mean, he's not enlisted for any clubs. Well, of course, he could play some tournament, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, after all the matches in 1 month, so...
I mean, Reykjavik Open sounds more like his dad than him, right? So, I don't know what he should be playing.
No, I mean, the game against Hammer was... Hammer had no problems whatsoever, but he played way too passive, and so he just let's say Hammer was, of course, they played a lot when they were kids. He was the head coach before in the first World Championship match when Peter didn't participate, so that was a funny game.
Also, I mean, I saw some was making fun. How could Hammer lose this position? But, it was an ending with Knight versus Bishop. Yeah. Magnus has some pawn breaks. I thought he was the favorite to win it.
I'm losing that endgame to Magnus 80% of the time. Like the position I saw on Twitter, I thought you just lose. I mean, before, I think Hammer took some timid decisions and he could just have gotten a clearer situation. But that endgame, I was...
exactly. I thought that again. I mean... I understand it's a draw and equal, but of course you will be outmaneuvered against someone who is much better, right? So that.
While Howell, the game against Howell had some hope at some point, but Howell did a great job playing for Do and making it basically. He was clearly trying to make a Do from the very first move.
Why? Because he played e4 and the marshal took the pawn? Or
yeah.
What did he do wrong? Was it a sharp position? No,
No, but he tried to enter this fourth line when you take the pawn. I don't think he was very ambitious for that game, but
No, fair enough.
I mean, it's not something you play for.
But even that, I think it takes considerable skill, which Howell actually has to keep. The position under control wasn't the most exciting, but you can also see Magnus getting a little something there.
Yeah, of course. No, it was not easy. He did very well, actually. He got surprised, I guess, by Bishop B7 in the early opening phase. But then he played... Okay, he was in a little bit of trouble, but he managed to keep everything under control.
Yeah, that game, if any of the listeners have seen it, it looks very boring, but I was actually fascinated by two decisions. I even tweeted about one. Yeah. The one is, because it's a very standard sort of structure where it's equal, black is maybe borderline a little bit better, and both sides have dark squared bishops with a symmetrical pawn structure. And the first is black goes h6, which I would also do, but I would guess, I haven't checked with an engine, that engines want to go h5, and it felt like the default is h5 now, no?
I actually tweeted about it, but h5...
You're on Twitter?
You guys tweet all the time, yeah?
Please, follow. Give me some follow. I mean, like, I'm ridiculous. I have less than 5,000. It's a shame.
Fressinet L, at Fressinet L.
Yeah.
He has a lot of good content about the Spice Girls.
Yeah. Yeah, I checked it with the computer, and you will be very surprised. After h6 is giving zeros, and after h5 is giving zeros.
Yeah, that's the problem. Everything's equal. And yeah, the one I tweeted about actually is very similar, because later there's a position black goes bishop e5 where white can play g3 or h3. And it's a decision I've never really understood. As a chicken, you often get these structures with symmetrical pawns, and you want to make a luft for your king, and your opponent has this dark squared bishop. Do you go g3 or h3? I got a lot of replies. Results were mixed most. I think beginners say h3, then intermediate players, I always say g3. And grandmasters, I had mixed feedback. Most, I think, said h3 is more natural here. Computer says both are 0-0. Like, I don't know. It's always been confusing to me.
For me, every day I play g3. I mean, I'm just stopping the back rank mate. h5, and I would play h6 as well, but I know that h5 would be probably a better move. But g3 is very obvious to me because it's you just stop the mate. I mean, h3, I don't see.
But I'm afraid of h5, h4, h3, queen f3. I'm worried.
I was trying to troll you and suggest that queen b3 was the move, but I would argue that in this particular position, g3 has some value, because after a move like queen b3, with the pawn on h3, there is rook b8, while with the pawn on g3, you can take the queen. But
yeah, I thought queen b3 was a blunder on purpose because of rook b8, but you go back, so it's probably...
Yeah, I go back. No, I thought that like queen b3, rook b8, I go back. And if queen b3, you go queen e4, I go rook d1, and I try to swap as much as possible. But, I mean, I think there is more than one good answer. It's the problem. We're debating things, but there is no answer. They are both fine, and it's going to depend on circumstances.
Yeah, no, I was just curious what people's default was, because I never had a default. Like, some people would just say, I go g3 or I go h3. And it doesn't seem obvious. I recall I lost to Vichy once, long time ago in the Bundesliga, and I think I played h3 in a sort of similar position, and he told me in analysis you should go g3, but it wasn't exactly the same. But yeah, it's rough decisions.
They both look ugly. I agree with you. I mean, why do you have to do one of them? But you would like to do something, right? I mean, it's a bit of the problem. Yeah.
Anyway, not the most exciting position to debate, but yeah.
Not really.
I'm always curious about this.
Mm-hmm. We had better debate in the past. Bishop g5.
Bishop g5.
We should congratulate our boss or former boss, depending on who we are. I mean, he actually won a team championship, right?
That's actually... I thought it was a bit rude from Tave to tweet it.
No. Well, maybe he's won, technically speaking, the German championship before. Yeah. But, but no, I think it's on the contrary. I mean... It's something he's worked hard for. He created this chess club office bill, and now, I mean, he's actually playing for them regularly, right? It's something he obviously wanted to and succeeded with. So I was trying to be sincere for a change and congratulate him.
Congratulations. You might no longer be world champion, but being Norwegian team champion will surely sweeten that pain a bit. On a serious note, though, Peter, that means... You'll soon no longer be working for the world champion. Is that a weird feeling?
Well, it has happened before, but generally speaking, yes, in a way that, of course, that's how you have tried to introduce yourself for a very long time, and that's not going to be realities anymore. I mean, well, if I still work for Magnus, I'm still working for the best player in the world. It's not that bad, but I guess, yeah, you're right. Things are coming to an end, and you start. Well, we have spoken about it many times. We all knew that this was probably going to be Magnus's last match. Well, the realities are suddenly changing. At least, well, you start to feel it that now there is two teams working hard somewhere on creating World Championship repertoires. And,
no, I think it's just one team. It's Ding somewhere with his laptop, and then Team Nepo.
Yeah, maybe you're right. That Ding is sitting there with his quad core and checking out the Marshall. Yeah. While Nepo has a team, but that of course feels weird. It's been part of your identity, at least for me, right? So, what do you want me to say? I mean,
it was a genuine question for a change.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when the match is over, it will. Well, you will feel okay. That was maybe you find out you don't care. Also, well, it's not exactly my decision, right? I mean, I'm an employee Magnus who takes it, but of course,
if Ding is listening, we should send him a message. Jan and myself, we are available anytime to go to Thailand for a month. He will receive incredible prep. We can talk to you even. We'll be in an excellent mood. So please.
The sad thing is that I actually would recommend him to give you guys a call, but yeah.
I don't think we can mess things up very much. we might not be very helpful, but we'll be there. Like, it can't hurt too much, Ding. Like, I was wondering, this might be a stretch, but can't hurt to ask if it's okay if we're both appeals committee and Team Ding from Thailand.
I think it's more transparent.
Yeah,
so let's face it. I mean, if we are only appeals committee, of course we will hold any problems in the favor of Ding. So it's more transparent if we are team.
Yeah, but if we're also on Team Ding, we don't want to appear biased, so we might actually take better decisions like that.
Ah, that's true.
Are you actually trying to get into the appeals committee? I don't think that's going to happen, but...
No, but only if we can do it remotely from Thailand.
Yeah. No, but also, I mean, you are saying you're not going to mess up things. But that's actually an important quality.
No, for sure.
I mean, I'm being very, very serious. I mean,
no, I was serious too, and it's the usual. You want the creative guys and the ideas, but you also want some sort of stability, and you need some workhorses, no? And that's where Laurent and I come into play. If you can define working from 10 till 4 with an extended lunch break as workhorses.
Come on, I mean, Ding could have a repertoire. He could have.
Sure. I can fix his Marshall in 2 days, actually. Like, he has glaring holes. It's very.
He may also buy you chessable repertoire. That would be.
It's a bit dated, but it will still help you, Ding.
Yeah, you will add some. We will add some. One or two novelties, a couple of novelties.
Yeah, we can tell some things.
No, I think some point I had to explain to Henrik, sort of, that yes, I'm telling all these crappy things about Laurent's work moral, etc. and so on, but I kind of trust him when it's very important to actually put up a reliable performance. And these things matter.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm crying.
Yeah, well,
I'm close to crying. I won't cry but thank you.
As kind as I'm gonna be, but I mean... Well, you need to have some kind of reliable... Well, I mean, that's what
actually, this is the only good thing. But, you are very consistent in telling me that, but in all those 10 years, this is, I think, the main good thing you told about my job, that I was very reliable. That you would call me in the evening, I would call you back in the mornings, and would work. But,
Yeah. Well, but
it's good.
Matters to some... I mean, other... persons might go on strike at different kind of things, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
But once the match is over, no, not before.
No. Yeah. No, but no. So, let's see. But I'm very curious about Ding's team. Also, normally you hear some kind of rumors, but I can only speak for myself, but I guess for you guys also, you're not that well connected in Chinese chess circles, right? So
I can't talk too much.
No, but neither is Ding.
Yeah, okay. You think you're actually serious? You think Ding is just going to do it on his own? Yeah.
No, but I don't think he's the type of person who will go out there. And I think if it was non-Chinese, we might have heard some mumblings, and I haven't heard anything at all. So I don't know. It sounds so hard to believe because they've had this project for 30 years now to promote whatever we call it, Western chess, and the goal has been also quite openly at some point to become classical world champion. And then when it's so close to see the guy going alone somewhere, I don't know. I don't have insights there. I've heard these rumors that it was also a decision of the party at some point, how much chess should be funded. Of course, the travel restrictions with Corona and so on. I don't know enough, but it feels very, very weird. And it feels very hard to believe that Ding is somewhere sitting, preparing, surrounded by a good team. But maybe I'm just wrong. And maybe Wei Yi, Yu Yang-yi, whoever is there are just chipping away right now while they're in some Chinese spa.
It would be extremely weird if not. Also, I mean, well, China can collect all the free titles. I mean, the women's titles would be there because there's only Chinese players left. They are reigning team world champions, right? So, I mean, it's an incredible chance for them. It just feels, it's very puzzling to me. But again, it could also be that just we have zero clue, as you say, that they are.
No, but also if we look at Ding's prep, and Ding, big fan. His prep is usually good. He has some ideas with white, but for the candidates, especially with black, even with our amount of knowledge, I thought he had some holes like twice in a row, which really, if you had a team or some people fixing it, I mean, shouldn't be the case. So I think Ding has mainly been working by himself, and I think he works a lot, but it really never looked like he had the infrastructure, and for the candidates, if there was support, there would also be, I don't know, I'm assuming money. So, yeah, I'm a bit puzzled by it. And it's even more amazing in a way that he got to number 2 in the world and this level.
Yeah.
We had a camp. We remember, Peter.
I know.
We had a camp in 2015. It was not... Yeah.
It was good, but also he gave this mixed impression of being knowledgeable somewhere, being incredibly... well, I don't know, naive is too insulting, but in other areas of theory, I mean, it's some years back, so still.
But still,
Well, still, naive is a big word, but sometimes it feels that way. No, sometimes he's deep in some random stuff, and sometimes it feels like there's some stuff we all suppose is common knowledge that he doesn't have, which...
it's like maybe a bit out of the loop. That, I mean, there is secrets we all know, but somehow he's disconnected from these things.
Do you think he was impressed by us?
I think us no, some of us yes, right? No, I mean, but no, I think he was mainly. I guess it was a weird experience for him. He probably got injured in sports and.
As the very first day, actually.
Yeah.
Soccer is always.
I don't think our work discipline impressed him massively, but I mean, it was pretty friendly camp. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
Of course, it was. I mean. In general, we should interview people who's been on Magnus camps for a documentary and get their impressions. But they're typically going to have weird impressions, would be my best guess.
I would think so.
And Ding being one of them. I have made the point before. I mean, well, sometimes I do it just to annoy Anish, but I also genuinely mean it. That for these kind of big events like candidates of World Championship matches, being a player who doesn't have good opening preparations is some kind of advantage, because for this match you will actually get it anyway, and then you will sort of, while others will dominate by having it generally. So maybe Ding will just for this event actually gonna come out well prepared. But,
I don't think so, but
could be. But I think it's also a process, especially nowadays where everything is 0-0. It's much more about overview and having checked fields in the past and so on. I'm not sure it can be done even if you work perfectly
I think
for in 2-3 months.
I think Caruana actually is proving your point wrong, Peter. With all due respect, I'm sorry, but he's always very, very well prepared. And in the last candidates or before, he was showing the best prep with the best ideas and very, very tricky.
Yeah,
very tricky stuff, so.
I mean, I also think that this is the Achilles heel of Ding, and that. Nepo will manage to hit him with some kind of, we call them free rolls or stuff like this, right? And he will end up having to solve way too many things at the board that Nepo knows about. But I don't know. I mean, we will see.
We could also all be very wrong. The good news is with black, if you play any normal opening, whatever, or any solid opening, let's say Berlin, Marshall, Petrov, of course, Ding has been a Marshall guy. Computers are so strong that, if you just click the first line everywhere for 2 weeks, it's not so easy to get hit too much. No. But of course, it could happen.
No, it could also just be an illusion, and it will sound strange afterwards in a way. So I don't know. We will see.
You just play the Marshal as Jan.
Yeah, but some people, they play the Italian.
Rook E8. Anyway, you do just Rook, like Magnus. Rook E8.
Rook E8, H6, Bishop F8, D6, Bishop E6. Then you're okay. Make 3 more precise moves. Summary. Put pawn E5, Knight C6, Bishop E7, castle. Go D6, Rook E8, H6, Bishop F8, Bishop E6. Make draw.
Make draw. If the guy is not committing suicide, he won 1 game as black.
Yeah, he beat Vichy like that as well.
He beat Nepo in the Italian, no?
True. But then the bishop went to A7. That was a bit out of character.
You remember when we were in that bar in... it was a night where we were in the bar in Thailand watching the final moves.
No, I guess I wasn't there. I was probably in the hotel working.
He was there.
I actually texted you to come.
Yeah. Jordan was half there.
Jordan was half there. Yeah.
You're trying to tell me you started drinking while the match was in progress, right?
No, while the last game.
Yes.
It was on +5. So we thought...
you mean on the computer? Yeah.
On the computer and +3 on the match.
Actually, there were some anxious moments. Because it was like, +5 on the computer, but then he made some non-computer moves and it dropped to like +1 or whatever.
Yeah, and Jan started to panic immediately.
I was full of panic. I was very annoyed by everybody else celebrating.
Well, that you guys started drinking is one thing, but that I started drinking, which I actually did, I went to the Play Magnus Lounge and had a beer, that probably gives away that it seemed rather safe.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, okay, especially, I mean, even if
but the point is,
winning.
For this match, this last week was very strange. I think both teams just saw it as over, but somehow, you can't really just put up a white flag, right? So you have to get it done with. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Laurent, at some point we have to do, I don't know, the script for that one night we're not telling Peter about. I mean, it's so much better than...
Because we both behaved. Actually, we both behaved the best.
We're the good guys. We can just be the narrators. Everybody else was great.
We are actually the only two to remember it. So that's good as well. So we can tell...
The adults in the room.
Our truth. This is even better. There's... The friendship between all friendship between France and Germany, which will ally to tell that story. Maybe that could be a Patreon thing, actually, and maybe we can make Peter pay for the Patreon actually to listen to the story. That would be amazing, actually.
If it was a movie, who would play us? Like we need us, we need Daniel Dubov, we need Jorgen van Forest, we need Peter. Sitting somewhere alone in a hotel room, like texting us. Who would be the actors?
That's a tough question.
I don't know actors. Unfortunately,
you will find a French one for me.
Yeah, Gérard Depardieu.
Yeah, we are looking very, very similar. So that's excellent.
We can think about it. But yeah, it's gonna be tough because there aren't any actors as handsome as Jordan. He maybe has to play himself.
About to suggest Max von Sydow for me, but he's dead, so it doesn't really work.
No, that could work.
Yeah. So, no. I don't think there's going to be like a Moneyball movie of our matches, I'm afraid.
No. I wouldn't think of it as a Moneyball movie. But,
oh, maybe. Okay, that's what you're
more
saying.
Of a Hangover 2, but more...
Yeah, that could.
More realistic.
No.
Okay.
Should we actually move on?
Before we get into trouble, let's have Laurent tell us all about the Pro Chess League. Laurent, how are the Gotham Knights doing? Are they beating the Indian kids? What's happening?
Not yet. No, the Gotham Knights have this ability to win the matches before playing the... you are normally... there's 16 games, so you play... it's 4 against 4, and you play all the opponent's players, but they normally win in 12 games. It's already a couple of matches, so they are already qualified for the next step. The final 8 will be the most exciting. And these Indian kids are also qualified, these Indian yogis also qualified. So this is a good system, when there's 5 weeks, and if you get 3 wins, then you are just in. Because top 8 will qualify, and then the rest is playing. So if you have a massive score and you are sure to qualify, you don't play anymore, because that would make it wrong from a sportive point of view. So these Gotham Knights are very good with Naka. Sometimes they play on board 2 with Lekwang, sometimes with Fedoseev. They have they have a very strong woman. I can't remember. Kashinskaya was the last time. And they have some underrated 2400. So that's the best, actually. You need 2 very strong players over 2700. I think that's the best you can get. You need some young guy with 2400, but very good in rapid chess. And some strong woman grandmaster. That's a good recipe. So we'll find out more who will qualify, and then the final 8 will be, I guess, very exciting. Magnus is doing well with his team. He has 2 out of 3, so they should qualify as well. So all the top guys will be there, I guess. That's it.
Sounds great.
No update for next week because I'm not commentating this week.
Not commentating. Okay. Well, still sounds like there is some work left to do for Magnus' team to qualify, right?
They need 1 out of 2. They have two shots to get to the playoff, so they should manage.
Moving on, in an abrupt change of topics here, Vladimir Kramnik, the world champion from 2000 until 2007. And Peter, I think I speak for both of us probably when I say a bit of a childhood hero of ours. No, maybe not childhood, but in the 90s I was all over Kramnik stylistically.
Heavily. I even I had a cat named after him. I was a huge fan.
And yeah, Kramnik was I think sent an email by a German journalist, right? Was it Martin Bräutigam? Yeah. Asking him some questions, and he gave a statement. He's no longer on Twitter, if you can look it up. He had a good run on Twitter, but he's no longer there. And the problem is, he was asked about his position on the Russian war against Ukraine. The problem is he demanded in his answer that his reply shall not be shortened, but only given in full. So I think I have no other choice than reading it out in full, and then you guys can weigh in. So question 2, this is from chessbase.com. Question 2, if I haven't missed it, you have not yet taken a public position on the Russian war against Ukraine. In contrast to some of your colleagues, why haven't you formulated a position yet? Kramnik, I do not use social networks. I am not used to making public statements in general. And in fact, you are the first journalist to ask me this question. If you want to know my thoughts on this, I can describe them here. I'm against all wars a priori, without exception, but I do not see much point in publicly expressing this obvious idea, except to seek public applause. Unfortunately, I can see that, contrary to the words, in reality, very few politicians or public figures make real efforts to stop it somehow. On the contrary, in my opinion, these statements often just add fuel to the fire, provoking even more confrontation and hatred between people. There's a lot of demagogy and right words in the media these days, but I prefer to try to help some people who need help in these difficult times, no matter what nationality they are, and hope that everyone will finally start discussing what can be done practically to find ways to stop the war. I strongly suspect that many, of course, don't get me wrong, there are enough sincere people, but still a minority, public activists are actually just using this dramatic situation for their own self-pride. Mainly to feel on the right side and to be liked by the public, because few of them go further than words. All think deeply about the possible consequences of their proposals, made out of their morally justified anger. Another thing that makes me think this way is that somehow I haven't heard most of them before expressing concern about the hundreds of thousands of victims during recent major wars such as Iraq, Syria, to just name a few. And some had even publicly supported these wars. Sorry, but I don't believe in selective humanism. I am of half Russian and half Ukrainian origin, have relatives and friends in both countries whom I try to help as much as I can, and this is very personal for me. I believe that the real agenda now is to concentrate on finding ways to stop this war rather than witch hunting. And I don't believe for a second that there is no way to do that. As the old saying goes, if you really want something, you find ways. Otherwise, you try to find excuses. I have no desire to take part in what has long become, in my opinion, a Vanity Fair. Many people have already been publicly applauded for the statements, but that hasn't improved the situation. The confrontation is still going on, and unfortunately it is getting worse. with the possible consequences of a global World War III, we are slowly but surely heading towards under this chorus of self-proclaimed fighters for good. So what is the point of all these declarations? To create a nice self-image? To feel like a good person? I leave it to all those interested to play this game. Not my cup of tea, sorry. I will express my views on this tragic situation when I decide to do so, but only after this empty Vanity Fair and witch hunt, which I must admit makes me quite angry, has ended. This is my main human position. And those who, for some unknown reason, have decided to give themselves the right to judge and condemn anyone who dares to stay out of the chorus of empty speeches may continue to enjoy their moral superiority, but I reserve for myself the right to do and say what is in accordance with my inner human values. I do not believe, for the reasons mentioned above, and because of the basic human and democratic principles, which I believe are still valid in any situation, that anyone has the moral or any other right to impose an obligation on me or anyone else to say something when and what they prefer. For now, I will continue to do something as much as I can and let the talkers talk and be proud of themselves. I did not mean to offend anyone in particular, but I hope my position is now clear. Best regards, Vladimir.
I didn't mean to offend anyone in particular except Guy Kasparov. Okay, after you read, I think the FIDE segment will feel very, very entertaining. That's all what I have to say about that.
Peter, any thoughts?
Yeah, there is a lot.
Is there?
No, I mean, well, there's a lot of things to say, but it's a long talk, but if I have to give a summary of it, it becomes difficult for me, I have to admit, because there is not particular substance. If anything, you can wonder who is it that he's hinting at, in criticism, I would say. It's like he doesn't reflect the slightest upon his own sort of ties to some of these things, for instance, and that he has been, living from the Russian system to a certain extent, and that he has very close ties to some of these people. But
how do you know? Are you sure about this?
Well, wasn't he the leader of chess things at the Sirius Center, owned by Timchenko? And I think also, hasn't he been rather close to Timchenko? That was my impression. Using his private planes, this kind of stuff. Again, I don't know. I don't have particular documentation for that, but I thought he was known to be the sort of connected to the chess center in this Sochi thing.
Okay, he was living in France, that's for sure. Now he's living in Switzerland. Yeah. So, yeah, you can... Mm-hmm. I don't think he received so much support from Russia, but maybe it's from individuals. It's very possible. That I don't know, but...
No, I mean... Well, what do you want me to say, Jan? It's difficult to comment on, basically.
No, whatever you want. Just
yeah.
Pointed out, for me. I don't know. Already his Twitter career was surprising to me, and this is also a bit surprising. He says "I hope my position is now clear." Wasn't completely clear, and I can't speculate about what he means by this, or if he was just asked the question and thought he should reply with, a rant about people craving attention for being on the right side. But it was a confusing statement.
Yeah,
to me.
I saw someone mentioning that it was to some extent targeted against me. That I think is complete nonsense. I don't know if it could be in reaction to Kostenyuk's statement and leaving, but I doubt that to some extent as well. But
no, but it's, against Kasparov, for instance. You can see Kasparov.
But I really don't think it's against one person. It's also a common notion, which, I sometimes even understand, even though I'm not on that side at all, that people get annoyed with the virtual signaling and everybody being righteous on Twitter when you're not sure if they're behind a cause or if they're in it for the likes or to seem nice. Like, I find it cynical to do this about the Ukraine situation, which, once again, this is just, to me, is just, very black and white. There's an aggressor and the victim, but it sounds to me like, in general, he's a bit unhappy with the social media attention game. But it's very hard to read into it. It's a lot of words, and I was genuinely mainly confused.
No, of course, Laurent mentions Kasparov, which is his rival for a long time.
You can read everything. You can put Kasparov, the name of Kasparov, and it fits. But it's just one of.
But Kasparov, I don't know, but I don't think you can accuse him of just being a talker and not a doer. No, so to me that's something.
Kasparov has been along on this case for so long that you cannot. You cannot criticize him for doing this for the popularity. Many others has jumped into this late. Kasparov has been going on for this at least since 2014, if not, I would assume earlier.
Yeah, right? Of course, earlier.
That would miss it completely. Kasparov did it before. It was not cool, but sort of is not the right word. But this is. He was extremely early on this. So no, I don't know what to say about this Kramnik thing. It's weird, but of course it's also, I don't know if, Kramnik has been put in to that extent. He has said, I think, not in about the war, but he's taking pictures with him and such. And I think also there was some tweets, but I have difficulties remember them fully, to be honest.
It would be interesting to see where he stands on Twitter. I recall he also. I'm not misquoting this, but he was sure that the election was stolen from Trump. So yes, some hot takes. Kasparov said, I don't think in reply, but I saw it on your Twitter. I made the mistake to go to your Twitter.
Yeah. You liked one of my tweets. I'm very honored.
But I think I liked Gary's tweet.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe I liked your retweet or something.
Yeah.
He said, No, I don't like war garbage. Russian athletes are representatives of the regime with war crimes committed in their name, or they're against it. They recognize Ukrainian sovereignty, or they don't. No more having it both ways with Western money, but supporting Putin. Yeah, but that was not in reply, right?
No. Kasparov's tweet is from, I think, April. This has been Kasparov's general point, which I fully agree to, that, this idea of stating that you are against the war, it becomes... it's very insufficient and it's very imprecise. Kasparov, it becomes these things about neutral athletes. Now, of course, I'm getting my feet a segment time here. But,
exactly.
You can have your statement in a minute, but
I'm just trying to loyally describe what Kasparov was saying then. Kasparov is clearly saying that there is no middle way, that, either you accept Ukraine territorial sovereignty or you don't. You cannot say that I'm against the war. That's too general a statement. You have to, make a specific point. And Kasparov is part of this, I've forgotten the name, but some kind of, Russian exile thing where they are, fighting hard for, they wanted to have a pledge, like, for instance, the Belarusian athletes had a very strong pledge where they sort of distanced themselves from the Lukashenko's leaderships, while, for instance, the Russian chess players was more anti-war and this is wrong. And Kasparov was pushing for that, if you want to have athletes participating, they have to make a stand, not just to be neutral. And that's basically what he's saying here, that this idea that you are against war, we are all against war. You can say the same with, Djokovic also has some anti-war statements, and Kasparov, he wants to say that, that is not sufficient. You can agree with that or not, but that's how I understand Kasparov's point of view, which I agree to, by the way, but no surprise. So, this thing with Kasparov was from long ago, so it's absolutely nothing to do with Kramnik's statement, just... I think also, Kasparov understands very well that the Russian athletes is pushed from both sides, right? And he's trying to push them to actually say something meaningful, not just to say that we are against all wars, like Kramnik says, right? So there is some game going on there, as far as I understand it.
Yeah, okay, it's also a debate we've had here plenty. I agree that I'm against all wars has sort of become a bit of code, it feels like sometimes too. I don't want to openly or at all criticize the Russian invasion. The moral question, if you're born in Russia, living in Russia, have family there, what statements you can expect people to make at the risk of whatever consequences they or their families might face. And if they have the resources to leave the country if they wanted to and so on. To me, it's not so easy, which is why I'm never fully on board when Peter makes these things sound very clear. And yeah, we've talked about this before. I wrestle with that question. I don't have a good answer. But yeah, I agree. I think generally I'm against all war points, which is a pretty obvious point to make. Or feels a bit like it. Anyway, this is your fun little chess podcast where we talk about the week in chess and about how to make a draw with the white pieces. So let's move on.
I have been looking forward to talking at chess as an Olympic esport. So should we include this, or you're trying to skip it?
No, we can do that. I am badly prepared as usual. What are the other Olympic esports? There were some random things, no?
Well, for instance, there is baseball. I mean, that's. I think it's called MLB Power Smash Bros. So it's like a retro game that I used to play on Wii. I was incredibly bad at it, but basically you can download it for 0.99 euros on your PlayStation if you have one, and then basically you participate in the competition and you can qualify for like that. But I mean, well, it has absolutely nothing to do with baseball. It's just, well, the game is, but it's just a small computer game that you are playing.
Did you play the golf?
There is no golf, unfortunately. No.
Shame.
No. But there is. The other game I have played is Just Dance, and I'm not going to send you a video of me playing that. But
please do. I need one more video for.
Yeah, I know you do.
My
but that is not going to happen. But it's basically it's also for PlayStation and Wii. It's a dance game. But I think the idea is they're going to invite 16 famous dancers who will then sort of do the Just Dance game on the computer there. And well, I think they have sailing, they have cycling, and different kind of games where they basically have computer games.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, exactly. Gran Turismo is probably one of the more, well, that's the more serious one. That's actually a very brand game, right?
Yeah, I think Gran Turismo and Just Dance are the big ones, not counting chess. The other games, frankly, I'd never heard of, like Tic Tac Bow, baseball, Swift, Virtual Regatta, Virtual Taekwondo, Tennis Clash. I'm not sure how they showed up there.
No, I mean, I will try to make everything into a feeder segment. So, of course, the argument should be chess is actually doing it for real while everyone else is doing it for fun. But on the other hand, maybe it's a cool stage. I don't know. But also,
I don't think it's for fun. It's esports. I just don't know if these games are.
The point is that
esports.
I don't think these games are big esports games. I mean,
that's also what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's maybe that we're a bit in the wrong crowd. That here it's a bit more, for fun. While esports is incredibly big, just not these games. Is my impression. I mean, I assume esports is things like, I don't know, Counter-Strike or whatever. Counter-Strike.
And how does that work? When does it take place?
I think the qualifier is on chess.com at some point. So, and nothing is mentioned about prizes except for you get a trip to Singapore, right? So maybe it's your chance, Laurent, if you want to. I mean, imagine being both mind sport and esports champion.
But what do you mean? You mean in chess or in Just Dance?
Yeah, that is true.
This is more from Thailand to come.
But also, I think Just Dance you cannot qualify to because they just take brand names. And no disrespect, but I don't think Laurent is that league.
The qualified esport athletes will move on to the in-person finals set to take place at Singapore's Suntec Center from June 22 to 25.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm a bit puzzled how strong the chess players will be because, chess players generally have quite something on offer, but maybe it's an interesting stage to compete at.
Chess players like money, so I guess it depends on the prize fund. No?
Yeah, nothing is mentioned about these things. Maybe chess.com. Maybe it's up to chess.com if they want to make it popular or not. I doubt we will see Magnus and Naka there, but I have no clue. But of course, it could be interesting, or it could be just a non-event. I don't know. Also, this is somewhat under the Olympic umbrella, as far as I understand, right? And my feeling is that the IOC is generally not very strong in esports, so maybe they're trying to actually create something there with their brand.
I thought Thomas Bach was a big Counter-Strike player.
Maybe, yeah. No, you're just being sarcastic, I can feel. So, anyway, maybe enough about this indeed very interesting topic.
Yeah. What other topics we have on our list? Alejandro Ramirez resigned from the St. Louis chess club, and that also means giving up his position as the head coach of the university there. So yeah, I guess that was expected no matter what the outcome of the investigations, clearly.
Yeah, I guess in US you cannot stay. At least in Europe you can. If you're under an investigation, I mean, it's possible. But I mean, in US, the pressure is too strong, no?
Especially in such a case, I guess. I mean, it's not a French politician taking some money or cheating on his wife, no?
No, but I mean, if there is
I take the French back. I know Laurent.
No.
But an offense.
If there is
German,
if there is minors involved, I don't think that they would just continue everything until the case has finished. I mean, they will be taking some precautions before that. Also in Europe, is my impression.
Yeah. Other than that,
yeah. I don't think we have much. We don't have much.
Yeah, I heard mumblings. There are bigger stories in the works, but I haven't seen any of them. So, yeah, we'll see what comes there. Welcome back, everybody, with an update to the Chicken Chess Club, episode 45. My name is Jan Gustafsson. Just at the time we had stopped recording our regular episode, the article by the Wall Street Journal about Alejandro Ramirez hit, which brings a lot more specifics and information on the case, and frankly, it's all absolutely horrifying. I'm not quite sure how to talk about it, but I felt we had to address the issue because we briefly spoke about it on the podcast recorded earlier. I'm here with Laurent, Fressinet, and Peter Nielsen. Guys, did you read the article?
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
I read it, and I mean, there is a lot of details and a lot of very strong and numerous accusations, right? So I think, we're looking into something incredibly serious here. I guess we knew that even before, but still, I think it's something that seems to have, shocked the chess world to an even bigger extent than we expected, and rightly so.
Yeah, because when Jennifer Shahadi, who broke the story, I don't know when it was, like a month ago, with the tweet, she also mentioned there were others involved, but I heard especially in back rooms, because she used the wording that she was assaulted twice. People were saying, what does assaulted mean? And so on. But now with 10 more women coming forward and some incredibly graphic descriptions, how he asked a 15-year-old, I hope I'm getting this right, a 15-year-old to bring him toothpaste to his room, and then I guess we gotta use allegedly pushed her on a counter and tried to kiss her. There's another report where allegedly a 16-year-old, he was giving vodka and then lured her back to his room, tried to have sex with her, and asked her to perform oral sex. It's all incredibly disturbing, also knowing that he's been in charge of training young women and being the coach of the US national team, the women's national team, for a long, long time. And I think he's been in that role for a long, long time. I don't quite recall, but I think I've seen him in Tromsø 2012 as the team captain.
Tromsø was 2014, but
2014. Sorry.
Yeah, it's long time ago. And I think maybe, I don't know, Jennifer didn't expect that so many victims would hide to her. So I don't know, but it means that it's so important to speak up when the first one spoke up, as Jennifer did. And I guess it's really not easy. Then, so we have, maybe there's not everything there, but already, it's just absolutely horrible. So, it's for the victims, it's very difficult, of course, to speak up, but it's really very, very useful.
But I will also contradict you a little bit, because I think, some are saying that, people spoke up internally, and there is also, I think, a relevant debate of systemic failure here, that nothing was done despite internal sort of warnings, if I understand the text correctly.
Yeah, it's hard to judge if US Chess Federation knew and what they knew if they did. Of course, it's a very, very strange look to send him as the women's team captain to last year's Olympiad in Chennai 2022. Yeah, as for the speaking up, yeah, shout out to Jen, who I think she mentioned herself. She was ready to move on, but also felt that she needed to do it in order, because there was present danger to minors. And if these allegations, and there are so many, and I've implied it on the pod earlier that I had heard some backroom stories as well, but by now, if they turn out to be true, I mean, this is serial predatory behavior and incredibly, incredibly scary. I don't even want to think about if 10 women have come forward, how many there are total.
The singular incidents are pretty horrifying in itself, but also the volume is shocking as well. I mean, there is so many directions that this is shocking, and I think.
And I think the last sentence of the article is when the woman, no longer a competitive chess player, had Miss Shade's post last month. She messaged her within 5 minutes. So it just shows how important it was to speak up and this tweet. And I guess she did a lot before. And of course, we are a small world, and it's obvious that some people knew, and not only the US Chess Federation or the St. Louis Chess Club, but this has to be clarified as well, because it's a shame if some people knew and didn't say anything. So that has to be clarified, and I guess it will be.
Yeah, it's frankly mind-blowing, and as I said, we are a very small world, which makes me surprised, frankly, that I literally had not heard anything before this Jen tweet. Clearly, other people have, but it seems like this has been going on to an incredible extent, and it's just shocking.
To get the move order correctly, I thought that Jen tweeted at some point when there was already police investigations, or am I wrong about that?
I'm also not sure, but I think her brother Greg Shahadi, he informed St. Louis Chess Club and US Chess in 2021, and Jen spoke with US Chess officials in 2020. Yeah. But I'm not sure if there were police investigations. I don't know what authorities were.
Mm-hmm. No,
but whatever. It's just insane to send him to Chennai with the women's team, and also to keep his job at the university. I mean, just insane decision.
Yeah, that's what I say. That there seems to be indication of systemic failure. That how this has been dealt with. I mean, also it's by, as far as I understand, by any kind of comparison, the biggest. I don't know if this is Me Too, but this kind of case, I have no recollection of anything moderately close to. That is known.
No, it also makes you wonder, of course, because we as middle-aged white men, I think we might sometimes have this tendency, or I can only speak for myself, saying, okay, the chess world is not so bad and everything is more or less fine. There are weird people everywhere. But if something can happen like that on such a scale for, I don't know, more than a decade without, us knowing or the chess world reacting in any case, it shows that the extent of this is hard to
I was wrong. I mean, like I couldn't imagine something like that could happen. That was a bit naive, and yeah, that's incredibly shocking and saddening.
Yeah, I agree. For right now, I think it's mainly. I mean, we knew there was something to it for a while now, but when you see these stories written out, it adds in a whole other dimension. In 15 and 16-year-olds, it's just incredibly disturbing. Also, that this could go on for so long, and I can't say I knew Alejandro well, but someone that's to some extent been in our lives. No, we worked for Magnus during this World Championship match. He was on the other team in 2018, and he was a guy you would run into and say hi. He was friendly, and it's just
popular interviewer in the St. Louis Chess Club, doing widely praised for his interviews during the Magnus and Niemann tournament recently in St. Louis and such, right? So he's, a high-profile member of the chess community by all means.
Yeah, also the highest-paid employee of the St. Louis Chess Club there.
Honestly, I went to St. Louis and we spent one evening playing Bug House with Fabi and him and someone else, but it was. Yeah, nothing. Of course, it's always the same. Yeah, you cannot guess this kind of behavior if you don't see him in action, because they are good at hiding. So
I think I mentioned on the podcast that I heard about rumors. I cannot pinpoint exactly when, but after I was in St. Louis, but probably end of last year's, but not by the severity that's mentioned here. That was not the impression I got from what I heard. I heard that it was bad, but not to this shocking extent.
The world is so messed up. I read this Harvey Weinstein book and how long that guy could keep doing what he was doing. Of course, with also different money behind it, or these alleged reports. You hear so many stories about churches and priests, even in Germany, where this allegedly goes on for so long. It's just so disturbing to think that teenage girls are being warned, even there, try not to be alone with Alejandro, and this happened. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't have anything smart to say. No. It's just shocking.
No, coach relationship for young players. It's as unacceptable as it gets. So, I don't have words for it.
So what happens now? I don't know the legal stuff. Is this up to U.S. Chess and the St. Louis Chess Club? Do authorities get involved? Like, they have to at some point, right? This is not a matter of chess federations.
I don't know how it works. If actually a victim has to take the case, or they have to bring it up by themselves. I didn't see it in this article. I thought earlier it was mentioned that the authorities was involved in that way. But of course, both the St. Louis and US will of course also have to react both to critique about their role, but also if it thinks that has happened under their responsibility, one would expect them to act in several ways.
Also, they got some information apparently about it, and they didn't do anything. So I hope they will have to give explanations, and if they misbehaved, didn't protect.
Also
the young girls, and they should.
I think
be punished for that.
I think Alejandro has stepped down from a number of posts, as far as I understand. Right?
All of them, no?
That we also mentioned in the podcast, right?
Yeah, all of them, I would think.
I don't think that that is the main.
No, of course he's finished in the chess world, but there is,
I think it's more on a bigger scale than this. So,
He cannot reappear to a chess tournament, come on. It's not,
sounds unthinkable. And also, I'm not into US laws, but it could be broken in a number of ways. For a start, I don't know when you are a minor in the States, for instance, things like this. But
it's also so creepy. There was some part where allegedly he was text messaging somebody about researching the legal age in her state and so on.
Yeah, it sounds wrong on so many levels. So no, it's shocking, but of course it should be dealt with. And also, there is so many things in it. Also, we have to chess community apparently have to be better also at preventing it. But of course, this matter has to be dealt with seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard to add thing. I think we agree that this is shocking, and we're a bit of...
No, yeah, I think the only thing left to say is that, of course, full sympathy to all the victims and applause to those who had the bravery to come forward with this, and obviously full support to Jen, who, mentioned herself even in her tweet that she's been working on this behind the scenes for a long time and starting this process, which hopefully will lead to.
And she also did some she resigned from. She stopped doing commentaries in St. Louis as well. So she even made some financial, sacrifice. So overall, she did well. It was so much easier to continue the job in St. Louis, and so it was good that she.
A saddening reality that she was the one who had to give up her job because she found it intolerable, and it was not possible to. Well, it didn't get solved at that point, at least, right? And also that both she had to lose her job, and that these things apparently has continued.
Yeah, but there's never a timeline for these things. I think we just have to applaud her for it.
Yeah. No, I'm not criticizing her.
Orchestrating this and coming forward.
At all. I'm saying
anytime.
She's been treated wrong as well.
Very disturbing news. I felt we had to at least address it because the news just broke after we were done recording the podcast. I'm still speechless. I hope, everybody is as okay as can be under the circumstances. And this is brought to justice. Don't know what else to say. Thanks for listening. Correspondence update, really?
No. I'm sorry. No,
we must keep that as a.
Let's make a rule. Peter, you update us if you have a different result. I will apologize to everyone if you have a different result than winning against the guy without the computer, or B, drawing everybody else. Then, okay, if you don't have anything...
That happened 1 month ago already, that against the same opponent, I have 1 win and 1 draw.
So you have 1 out of 2 against the guy without the computer.
So you didn't beat the guy without the computer?
Congrats. Because you played Berlin, and then he played.
No, well, for a start, it's 960. But no, it's an interesting thing. Maybe I just blundered in terms of it took me too long time to understand that he was not playing without the computer. But alternatively, well, he's actually made some points in some of the other games. So it's a bit unclear to me. My feeling is also that some of the players... Maybe they have this rule that in 960 they will play the first 10 moves themselves and then they switch on the computer. It's a bit unclear. No, I also thought about it that, I am wondering why are they wasting their time like this? But they could also argue if someone sent me an email and saying, hi, I would like to play Magnus Carlsen's coach in an online correspondence game. And I'm just going to think on my own and you can use the computer. How do you feel about that? Well, I'll obviously say no, but in reality, that's what's happening in a way here. So
you're wondering why the others are wasting their time playing 960 correspondence chess?
No, I'm a bit puzzled. But no, at the moment, I have to admit I have some kind of motivational crisis because... it's just basically relaying the computer moves. But I think the strategical...
Really?
yeah.
The depth of analysis in correspondence chess, it's mind-boggling.
So I apologize. I think we should make an update once every couple of months, because it's quite funny.
I'm going to win 3 of the games. I mean, one guy seems to me not to play with the computer in the beginning, but he has actually scored quite some points against the others. So I'm a bit puzzled.
No, but actually the main intrigue is to know whether the guy is using the computer or when does he start using a computer.
Yeah, but I somehow also, I thought it's, I was also rude to ask, right? I mean, excuse me, sir, but are you using a computer? And if you are, why are you making these mistakes? There's no reasonable way to ask, is there? Or?
But sometimes in these computer games you get decisive results. Is it in 960? Would you get more decisive results because of the weirdness of the position, or is it just all gonna be draws?
No, that is in this TCEC tournament, right?
Yeah, if they get some random positions here, but that's why I'm asking.
Well, they're trying to have positions that actually has some advantage for one of the players. That's the problem with this Chess 960 games here, that while for humans they are very difficult, but for computer it doesn't matter. I mean, it's...
Because there was this take at some point that some positions are incredibly advantageous for white. That's not true, yeah? In computer lingo, or maybe...
Yeah, not to... I don't think there's anything close to winning. But, well, for instance, one of the matches I have is very interesting because, well, it's a very sharp starting position that basically... Well, I mean, it's...
Okay, it's getting too long.
Yeah,
okay.
Please. This is taking your time from this segment.
With black, I chose to go for something, well, very principled, not giving him a small positional edge. While with black, he chose the opposite, but he's managing to drawing me. But generally speaking, computers are too strong.
Okay, so one question.
Yes.
How many times did you overhaul the computer?
Well, I'm using different engines, so... But
no, I mean, like...
The answer is 0.
No.
Of course the answer is 0.
That's actually not true.
He feels brave if he plays the second stockfish move and the first Komodo move.
Yeah. No, that's not how it is. I mean, normally you realize that you can analyze, but none of your moves gives you anything, and then, you postpone your decision, and after 1 week you think, stuff it, I like this one most, so there is some feeling.
But picking one of the 000 moves is not overruling the computer.
No, I'm not saying that, okay, this is minus 0.50, but I like it. Of course not. I mean...
Oh, okay.
But the problem with modern engine is that...
Did you ever make a move where a computer was giving, let's say, 0.10 and your move was 0.05 and you still made it?
I might have, sort of freaked out like this at some point. Yeah, actually,
wow.
The guy I beat 1.5 half. I mean, I was playing some moves to make... Well, I was playing h4, h5, h6, of course. I had to do that. But that I was doing to try to unbalance it a little bit. But, well, he was also the kind of guy I realized that if I made a move before 8 o'clock at night, he will always reply immediately. So I thought that, there is a chance to beat him like this. And then, the game that ended a draw with him, I tried to keep it going as long as possible to make him... make a mistake, but no chance there. So
it was space
right.
Yeah.
Like.
Thank you, Peter, for the update on the Correspondence 960 chess. I can't wait to hear more. Laurent, you now have half an hour to tell us about Bayern versus PSG tomorrow at 9 p.m. Bayern won the first game 1-0, then came to my hotel in Düsseldorf. Got some good rest, lost to Mönchengladbach, and now it's the rematch.
I will do 30 seconds.
Please tell us everything.
I will do 30 seconds. In the first match, Mbappe was injured. He just came in after 1 hour. This time, he's in full shape. So, we'll see.
Ooh,
we will see.
I strangely have a feeling that, not necessarily that PSG will qualify, but that it's going to be interesting. Actually.
I have a strong feeling that PSG will qualify, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think bookmakers disagree, but what the heck?
Yeah. It's good. I will even make some bet. I don't know how much, but I
can imagine. Yeah.
I feel it.
I like about your betting that you do it from a cold analytical perspective and just straightly checking the odds, never betting on the team that you like, that's from your city. No, you're a shark out there.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
What else do we have? Nothing. New motto. Who wrote this? Write a motto for the Chicken Chess Club? Is that one of our tweets?
No,
I think our producer was trying to check out... this is the AI chat GPT sign. So basically you try to make it suggest, make a motto or a song or a rap song or something like this, and then they will do it. And,
terrible, though. Strategize like a rooster, play with the heart of a hen. Welcome to the Chicken Chess Club.
That's not very impressive.
Strategize, cluck, and conquer.
That's funny, no?
That's horrible.
That's what I like.
That's not very impressive either.
No.
We do need a motto, though. What could be the motto? The show where we talk about chess.
That's not really a motto, but I'm not. I always end up with sarcasm. It doesn't really work. Even for our election campaign, we couldn't come up with a motto.
Maybe that could be a motto.
We always end up with sarcasm.
That doesn't really work.
Okay. No.
All right, yeah, we give up. No motto, no content, no ambitions. What else do we have? Ravi Shrivastava is saying, hey guys, love the podcast. Thank you. Heard you're looking for things to offer for your Patreon subscribers. Nah, that's an empty gesture. Just give us money. How about a chicken chess repertoire for the club player? That's asking for too much. But we could do it. We could do it somewhere else. A 50 rated player's way to quick draw with both colors. It's easier with white. Let's make a white rep.
Are you sure it's easier with white?
I'm sure, yeah. You go E4.
Yeah,
you go E4 for sure, and then we will...
Or D4.
Really?
We can do alternating repertoires.
Really? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I've worked all my life on a D4 drawing repertoire. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I mean...
Okay, we can make both.
In World Championship matches, when we needed a draw, I remember especially with Vichy, but I forgot if we ever needed a draw with Magnus. I thought E4 was the easier way to force a draw.
That's supposed to be the default, yeah. I think it's...
As far as I remember...
The problem is if they're willing to give up a big advantage, you usually have to play. And I think that goes for both D4 and E4. But yeah, the common thinking is D4. I know you have to put up with Benoni's or King's Indian sidelines, or Leningrad Duchess, which are maybe more fighting, paying a slower price than...
Well, there is Semislav, there is, triangle stuff. There is various things out there. You can play King's Indian for that matter, right?
No,
E4, of course, it's logical because it's a more open game, as it's called, so it leads to a more direct clash, and it's very hard for black. But still, I've seen even Magnus, in E4, C5, it's not that simple to force a draw sometimes.
When he needed a draw against... Caruana leading 2-0. I think he switched to 1E4 in the match, right?
But he just played some stuff, no? 5F3 or whatever. And I'm not sure.
No, that was
that was against Kayakin.
Sorry,
against
Caruana
was...
So this C4.
C4 and knight takes C6 is also not exactly a draw.
Really?
No.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, sort of, but still...
Yeah, I think we had few good repertoires.
No, of course, white is not worse anywhere, but yeah, I think the common thinking is you're right that E4, if you're able to play both equally well.
No, the only time I have done it very methodically was this game 11 for Vichy against Team Fressinet, but Kramnik playing, right? There basically with E4, we thought, well, the Caro-Kann was not so easy to force a draw against, as far as I remember.
That was not in our radar.
I know the problem.
Yeah, exactly. But else, everything for instance, the 4 knights in E4, E5 is basically, it's very simple, right? And
I know that problem.
Yeah.
More from the blacks.
Sicilians you could also kind of take care of and things like this. It's just...
Panov, you cannot force draw in Panov?
Well, Geary gave it a try against Magnus recently, right?
That's true. That was actually, But I guess A6 we could take care of.
Yeah. No, but I think Jan describes it well. These situations in must-draw games for white, your opponent is going to do something weird, and probably it's a bit easier to do something weird in D4 against E4, right?
No, for sure.
Of course, also Vichy's decision was that, he understood Kramnik is going to do something strange, and while we have prepared D4 for the match, he's a natural E4 player. So as he's going to be surprised anyway, why not at least beat something that you have been, doing your whole life? It makes
I think that's the more important consideration. You sort of want to play on your home turf there. And for most people, you grow up an E4 or a D4 player and then you default to that one. But of course, when we're talking about repertoires for club players, it's also not really trying to force a draw against an opponent who needs to win at all costs, making it weird. There, I think, doing a chicken repertoire that can just be a solid E4 or D4 repertoire actually could have some value. And being a chicken, in my definition, doesn't mean that you're trying to force a draw with white. You're trying to avoid situations that could be unclear, and you often play like forcing lines where, your opponent has to know his stuff, and then he could make a draw in the best case. But frankly, that's a very common approach to chess openings nowadays anyway. So I think it often gets mistaken. Once again, this is my definition, which doesn't exist anywhere. that being a chicken means playing passively or playing solidly. Often it's the opposite. You play aggressively and you try to force the fight early so that you don't have to maneuver later.
I mean, that's also, I see, being a chicken is you're trying to avoid playing. I mean, well, at some point I was playing poker tournaments with you guys, but my poker style is incredibly chicken. I try to basically play push or fold, right? I mean, you want to, well, basically you try to push all the money in. Basically you try to avoid making difficult decisions. You have zero confidence in your ability to handle complexity, right? I mean, isn't that how you see it?
Yeah, I'm not sure we're selling our future course very well. No, of course, the chicken nature is not so much stylistic, but trying to avoid a fight or prolonged tension. Often it's mistaken as let's play very solidly or let's try to exchange queens very early, which is often a horrible strategy for making a draw. You end up sitting in some long endgame, being chipped down. So, no, there are different definitions to the way of the chicken. You can also be Laurent, who's not really a chicken, he's just lazy. So you just offer a draw on move 21 and you go home.
Laurent is not a chicken at all. I mean,
come on.
See. No, he's just pragmatic. He's pragmatic.
No, I'm a chicken. But it's like, if you think I'm optimistic while I'm not, but...
No, but you're just not a chicken. I mean, you try to play chess and this kind of thing.
No.
Try to be safe.
Maybe he's
there's some solidity built in there.
Anyway, but we heard the idea for a repertoire.
Yeah.
No, and it could be useful if you are, let's say, 1500, you play some 1800, you can start to play solid, and the guy is going to try to take risks. So, I mean, it can be useful at every level, actually, and you improve your chances to win, actually, by being a chicken.
Well, being good in the opening is often not bad. It's not the only thing to chess, but yeah, it does help. Hot take. I will get many angry tweets saying until 2400, you need endgame, tactic, strategy, and no openings. Thanks, keep them coming. Well, I think there should be a 1-minute segment at the end where Jan should summarize the content of the episode with his fake Dutch. Oof. Shall we do that? Before we do that, is there anything you guys want to address in the language of your choice?
I had 7 points for my FIDE segment, but I feel that the time has passed. So yeah.
You got the Kramnik segment, I think.
Yeah. That seems like.
Really? Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. Wow, such. Yeah. Jan is really the boss. He's amazing.
Okay. Not too much. What are we looking forward to in the next week? Actually, European Championship is peaking. There's going to be a decision, but.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I might be playing German Cup. That's going to be exciting.
Wow.
I might not be.
I might be playing the 13th.
That's a big event.
So that will be next Monday. The play-in for the next online event. Peter, let's make a challenge.
Wow. Yes. When is it?
It's the 13th, Monday. Next Monday at 4 or 5. I don't know. I can tell you more. But I could play and we can make, a challenge.
Yeah. Well, we have to agree on some kind of handicap number of points I get when we compare.
Handicap, but we have the same rating, brother.
Not in reality, but I haven't played Blitz for... Okay, you're saying next Monday, maybe?
It's 10 plus 2. It's not Blitz.
10 plus 2, wow.
See, when you get increments, you don't lose on time.
No. I might have to look after a kid, but I guess that's possible to do at the same time if it's 10 plus 2.
Yeah. So. And you can think about openings for Magnus at the same time. It's amazing.
Yeah. Also. But do you need to install cameras and all these kind of things?
Yeah, they don't. Okay. See, probably, if you don't, probably nobody will accuse you anyway. No. But you're supposed to install at least one camera, I would guess.
Okay. I will consider it.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Excellent. Then let's sum up the week in Dutch. Disclaimer, I don't really speak Dutch. But here we go, and thank you to the dear listeners who made it this far. See you next week. Or not, we never know. Deze week minder dan niets gebeurd in de wereld van het schaken. Even kijken naar... Magnus heeft gespeeld tegen Jan Ludwig Hammer en tegen David Howell. 1 gewonnen, 1 remise. Ja, lekker Magnus. Goed gespeeld. Gefeliciteerd. Pro Chess League weet ik veel. Heb ik niet gezien. Europese kampioenschappen. Kijken, volgens mij Tommy Bertsen, heel goed toernooi. Gefeliciteerd Tommy. 3-11-4. Wat een toernooi van Tommy Bertsen. Ja, Kramnik heeft een heel lange post geschreven, maar ik snap niet wat hij zeggen wil. Ik snap het helemaal niet. Peter Nielsen speelt nog steeds 960 Correspondence schaken. Heel leuk. En ja, minder dan niets gebeurd. Dankjewel. Tot ziens. Doei.
Dank u wel.
Bye.
Flabbergasted.